but I'm just a rock chick.
I would describe my music and my sound as Avril.
It's the best damn thing.
Welcome back to another episode of the Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast, a facts and trivia-based podcast about Canadian pop singer Avril Lavigne. I'm your host, Andrea DiFrancesco. In this edition of the Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast, we're going to discuss Avril's recent Canadian Bite Me tour, which wrapped in early June. But before we begin, let's catch up on everything that's happened with Avril since the last episode. From May 27th to the 29th, Avril performed in the lineup for the Boston Calling Music Festival. She included Mod Sun on Flames in the performance on May 27th. On June 1st, a new photo appeared of Avril holding a white electric guitar with the song titles from Love Sux written on it, but with the addition of new titles, C'est La Vie and California. Fans began speculating if they would be bonus tracks on the deluxe edition of Love Sux. At the time of this recording, there is still no info on the deluxe edition or when it will be released. Love Sux was named one of the 50 best albums so far of 2022 by Billboard and one of the best albums so far of 2022 by Rolling Stone. On June 7th, Avril was announced as a headliner for the iHeartRadio Music Festival in September. She also uploaded a new video to the Love Sux album on Spotify, implying that a deluxe edition of the album will be released soon. On June 17th, Avril uploaded a mini-game on Instagram called Skate the 2000s, which features Avril from the Skater Boy video skating through a city street. Players can level up by collecting Let Go CDs, jumping over police cars, and balancing on the rail. The same day, she also released a behind-the-scenes clip discussing the re-recording of Breakaway and what the song means to her. Hayley Williams included I'm With You on episode 8 of her podcast Everything Is Emo and discussed how Avril helped pave the way for Paramore. She also began the mainstream sellout tour with Machine Gun Kelly, which she is currently on as an opening act throughout the United States. On June 20th, Avril performed an acoustic set for the Nashville radio station 107.5 The Rivers River on the Rooftop series. She performed live acoustic versions of Bite Me and Love It When You Hate Me for the first time. On June 23rd, Avril uploaded a new TikTok featuring her dancing to What the Hell. On June 24th, Avril released 2 new recordings for Spotify singles, a cover of Hello by Adele and an acoustic version of Love Sux. A behind-the-scenes video clip was uploaded on Spotify the following week, showing Avril in the studio with Travis Barker. On June 25th, she performed a brief acoustic set at a private show for Mix 104.1 in Boston. On June 27th, she uploaded a TikTok in which she referenced the infamous Melissa conspiracy theory. The same day, The Kelly Clarkson Show uploaded a bonus interview clip where Kelly and Avril discussed Breakaway. On June 28th, Avril uploaded a TikTok where she recreated the Let Go album cover while standing on a street corner in New York City using the song I'm Just a Kid by Simple Plan. Simple Plan then duetted the video on their account with the caption, "This is so rad, happy 20th anniversary, should we go back on tour to celebrate?" And speaking of the Let Go album, I also wanted to talk briefly for a minute about the Let Go Anniversary Edition and its eligibility for the Grammy Awards, since some fans were speculating about it upon its release. So I don't claim to be an expert on the eligibility rules for Grammy Awards, and I know that they did change some of their eligibility rules recently, but based on what I've read, in order for re-recordings to be eligible for Grammy Awards, they have to contain at least 75% newly recorded or previously unreleased material and be newly recorded within 5 years of its original release. So if this is the case, I unfortunately don't think that the 20th anniversary edition of Let Go is actually eligible to be nominated because it only contains about 32% newly released material and only one song was newly recorded, and it was not released within 5 years of the album's original release back in 2002. So for anybody who might have been wondering if the 20th anniversary edition of Let Go is eligible to be nominated for the Grammys, unfortunately, because of the new rules about re-recordings, I don't think it is. And lastly, on June 29th, Avril tweeted, "Do you guys think Machine Gun Kelly and I should shoot a music video for Boys Lie?" implying the video has either already been shot or will be shot soon. Now let's get into our topic for today's episode, which is all about the tour Avril just completed called the Bite Me Tour. As always, we'll start with some facts and trivia about the tour. The Bite Me Tour began on April 30th, 2022 in Orillia, Ontario, Canada at the Casino Rama Entertainment Centre and concluded on June 2nd in Halifax, Nova Scotia at the Scotiabank Centre for a total of 16 dates. This was Avril's first headlining tour in Canada since the Black Star Tour in 2011. The tour was initially planned to begin in February 2022 with shows in Europe as makeup dates for the postponed Head Above Water tour, but were postponed again to 2023 due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The tour was then revamped as the Bite Me Tour 2022 Canada and announced on November 26, 2021. It is a separate tour from the upcoming Love Sux Tour later this year. It is named after the lead single from Love Sux. Opening acts included Modson, All Time Low, Grandson, and The Beaches. $1 from each ticket was donated to the Avril Lavigne Foundation. After the first show of the tour, the next couple shows were postponed due to a positive COVID case within Avril's camp. The tour resumed as normal a few days later. Avril's setlist consisted of 16 songs, including singles from all her past albums, plus selections from her current album, Love Sux. It was her first tour not to include a cover song in the setlist. The show opened with the Love Sux album logo and black balloons displayed on the curtain while a voiceover repeating her name played. A soundbite from Avril played, followed by the heart graphic exploding, a possible reference to the album track Break of a Heartache. The setlist then began with the Love Sux track Cannonball, which featured Avril standing behind the curtain holding black balloons, similar to the album cover. The curtain then dropped to reveal a video screen with skulls with mohawks and song lyrics. Towards the end of the song, orange and black streamers were launched into the air. She then performed Bite Me while lyrics were displayed on the video screen, along with the Bite Me cake graphic and clips from the music video. Next, she performed What the Hell from her 2011 album Goodbye Lullaby, and Here's to Never Growing Up from her 2013 self-titled album. Clips from their respective music videos played on the screen behind her. She then performed Complicated from her debut album Let Go, as clips from the music video played behind her overlaid with handwritten lyrics. Her band then played an instrumental break as Avril went backstage. For some shows, it was simply an extended outro of Complicated, while for others it was Avril's 2014 single Hello Kitty. Avril then returned to the stage to perform My Happy Ending from Under My Skin, with the same black and orange striped Fender guitar from the Love It When You Hate Me music video. This is the only time she played guitar during the set. Clips from the music video for My Happy Ending also played behind her. Next, she performed Smile from Goodbye Lullaby for the first time since the Black Star Tour. Green lighting was used as well as a green and black smile graphic on screen. She then performed Losing Grip from Let Go as clips from the music video played behind her and the lighting changed to red. It was the first time she performed it live since the Avril Lavigne tour in 2014, and the first time it was performed consistently since the Best Damn tour in 2008. For the next song, she brought her fiancé and musical collaborator Modson on stage to perform their duet Flames together as the video played behind them, along with a fire graphic. There were a few shows where Flames was omitted from the setlist since Modson was absent due to other performance commitments. After that, Avril sang Love It When You Hate Me as Black Bear's parts played from the track. The music video played behind her. Next, Avril played a verse and chorus from Love Sux while playing drums. It was dropped from the setlist for a few shows for unknown reasons. Avril mentioned one night that she had hurt her back while trying to get off the drum set, which may explain why it was omitted from some shows. She then performed Girlfriend from her 2007 album The Best Damn Thing. The album graphic and skulls played on the screen behind her and the lighting changed to pink. Next, she sang Boys Lie as Machine Gun Kelly's portions were played via backing track. In place of the song's bridge, Avril instead sang the La La Liar hook as a call and response game with the audience. The lyric video played behind her, which also included the black balloon graphic. She concluded her main set with her 2002 hit single Skater Boy with the music video playing behind her, as well as the red star graphic. She introduced her band during the bridge, and orange confetti fell at the end of the song. While Avril went backstage for a costume change, an extended intro of the music video for Head Above Water played on the video screen. Avril then came back on stage for the encore to sing the song, then concluded her set with I'm With You as the music video played behind her with a rain effect added to the video. Black confetti fell into the air as she finished the song. Avril wore several different costumes for this tour, all custom designed by Ashton Michael, who has designed several of her outfits for stage performances and music videos for the Love Sux era. Some of her outfits included an orange and black studded plaid miniskirt with a studded harness, a gray and black studded plaid skirt, a multicolored plaid skirt, a black leather skirt with studs, and an orange and black leather skirt with studs and zippers, as well as a black hoodie with Love Sux written on the back, and a black leather trench jacket with the Let Go red star, her name and song lyrics on it. She also wore a black mesh bodysuit with a black corset and knee-high combat boots. For the encore, she changed her skirt bottom to a long see-through mesh skirt over the bodysuit. You can see more details on Avril's custom tour outfits on Ashton Michael's Instagram page. Avril's band members wore black blazers with orange trim. Her hair was done by Lauren Bates, and her makeup was done by her longtime makeup artist Gabriel Pandoro. Photos and video clips from the tour were taken by Ryan McFadden and uploaded to her social media. A videographer named Travis Nesbitt filmed one of the shows and confirmed some of the tour footage will be used in an upcoming documentary Avril is working on. In addition to her custom-made orange and black striped Fender guitar, Avril also had a custom sparkly orange microphone and orange and black mic stand with spikes. The stage design included the Love Sux album logo on the stage, as well as black balloons and orange lighting. There were also orange and black beach balls bouncing around in the audience. Her band for this tour included Cameron Hurley on lead guitar, who replaced her longtime guitarist Dan Ellis, David Immerman on rhythm guitar, Matt Riley on bass, musical director Steve Ferlazzo on keys, and Chris Reeve on drums. Based on box office data available for 2 shows, the biggest crowd Avril played for was 6,019 people in London at Budweiser Gardens, selling 98% of tickets and grossing over $336,000. Overall, the tour sold very well and received rave reviews from fans. In the fall, Avril will headline in South America and Asia, then tour the UK and Europe in spring 2023 as part of the Love Sux Tour. It is unknown at this time if her setlist will differ from the Bite Me tour. So now that I've kind of gone through all of the facts and trivia that we know about the Bite Me tour, I thought I would kind of just give my overall thoughts on the tour and my thoughts on the setlist and things like that. I did not actually get an opportunity to attend the tour because I don't live in Canada and it's kind of a far way for me to travel. So I unfortunately was not able to attend the tour, but based on all the videos that I saw, I thought it looked really, really fun. And I definitely wish that I could have been able to attend the tour. So my thoughts on the set list, I know like when the set list came out, a lot of people had some complaints about it because of how short it is and that she wasn't playing that many new songs. And I totally get that. I think that unfortunately over the last several years, her set lists have been about the same length, where her shows have tended to clock in at about 75 minutes. And we're not really sure of the reason. It could be because of her battle with Lyme disease, where she still has some kind of lasting physical effects from that, where maybe she just can't do a very long show. Maybe she's been medically advised not to do a very long show. It could also be just to save her voice. Maybe we don't really know. I will agree that the set list is pretty short, like 16 songs for having 7 albums does seem really, really short. But at the same time, I can kind of understand from her perspective that she's had a 20-year-long career. And maybe if for some reason she has to keep the set list short to try to have like the best of both worlds, where she is making sure to play all of the hits, making sure that every album gets represented, but then also playing some of the new songs has to be like really difficult to be able to pare it down to that short of a set list. One thing that I do like about this particular set list is that every album did get representation, which I think was a really good way to celebrate her 20th year in music. And she also brought back some songs that she hasn't played in quite a while, like Losing Grip and Smile. So, I mean, I understand like from her perspective how hard it probably is to kind of give attention to all of the hit singles while also trying to play some of the new stuff as well. And some of the people who come to the shows, I think this is something that maybe hardcore fans have a hard time understanding, is that a lot of people who probably come to Avril shows are casual fans. Like, I just remember the last couple times that I've seen her in concert, a lot of people who were there seemed like they were maybe fans of hers from a long time ago, but haven't necessarily kept up with her new stuff. They might just be casual fans who know who Avril Lavigne is, know some of her hits, but maybe are not super familiar with her latest stuff. And they're kind of just like, I just want to go see a show. I know Avril Lavigne. I want to go see Avril Lavigne. So she's kind of trying to cater to a couple of different types of audiences, where there's the hardcore fans who know every single song and who want to hear the new stuff. And there's a large portion of casual fans as well that she kind of has to cater to that know mainly the hits. And I will say from personal experience of seeing her live a couple of times that as much as it's cool to hear the new stuff and it's like kind of a breath of fresh air to hear the new songs that we haven't heard before and stuff, I think that the hits are always what goes over better live, and like the energy in the room just changes and everybody is up on their feet, dancing, singing along. The energy is just so different, and I think that Avril feeds off of that energy and gives a better performance as well. So I can kind of understand from her perspective, especially because she has talked about how for a very long time since her first album, she was dreaming of the day when she would be able to do a set list entirely of singles, which I know for us as fans is kind of repetitive and boring. And we've heard these songs hundreds of times and it's not anything new for us. But from an artist perspective, I think it's probably the coolest thing in the world for her to get out on stage and sing all these songs that were hit songs and the audience is singing along to every single word. Whereas sometimes the newer stuff, like especially on the Head Above Water tour, like songs like Head Above Water, Tell Me It's Over, It Was in Me, those aren't songs that can be easily sung along with, if that makes sense. Even if Avril did a good job performing them, they're just not songs that are as easy to sing along with as songs like Skater Boy, Girlfriend, What the Hell. And obviously, like, again, performers feed off of the energy that the audience gives. So it's kind of like a cycle, if that makes sense, where the performer energizes the crowd and then they feed off of the energy that the crowd gives back. And so I kind of do understand from Avril's perspective why she goes for those like upbeat hits that people know, because it's just what tends to get the most reception from the audience. That being said, I do agree as well from the perspective of fans that it would be nice to hear more album tracks. And I will say when I saw the set list, I wasn't surprised at how short it was, and it was pretty much about what I expected it to be. I think some people also had complaints about Flames being on the set list, considering that it's not really Avril's song. But I think that it was kind of expecting, considering that she and Matsun are engaged. And even if they weren't engaged, like they were in a relationship. And so it was kind of inevitable that she was going to invite him up on stage at some point. And I don't really mind it, honestly. Like, even aside from the fact that they're engaged and stuff, and it was pretty obvious that that was going to happen. But even aside from that perspective, I think that it kind of does make sense to bring him up on stage, even though it's not her song, because first of all, he opened for her. So it's pretty typical. Sometimes the opener gets to come back on stage with the main act to perform something anyway. And they do kind of have some overlapping fan bases. So I think it was cool for people who are fans of both to kind of get to see them perform together. And a lot of people really like that song as well. So I think to get to see it live was probably really cool to experience in person. But also, the way that I think about it is that without Flames, like Love Sux kind of wouldn't exist if you really think about it. Like Flames was the first thing that she and Maud worked on together. And then that was what introduced her to John Feldman. And then working with the two of them is how Love Sux was created. So I think it was just a really cool full circle moment to kind of sing this song that started it all for them. So while I get that some people were kind of annoyed that a song that isn't even really Avril's took up a slot on an already kind of short set list, I also think if you think about it from the perspective of like it's a full circle moment, I think that it makes more sense why it was included. So some changes that I would have made to the set list, I honestly don't even think the set list was really that bad. Like when you kind of look through it, like I said, it's cool that every album got some representation, that she kind of brought back some old songs and stuff. So I don't think the set list was really like that bad, but I would have made a few adjustments. And these are kind of the things that I would have changed about it personally. I think it's cool that she brought back Losing Grip because it's the 20th anniversary of her first album. And it's really cool that she was like celebrating that, especially because Losing Grip is a song that she hasn't performed consistently in quite some time. And it's a fan favorite song. It's one of her favorite songs. But I think it would have been really cool if she had swapped Losing Grip for a different Let Go song each night, just to kind of give like proper attention to the Let Go anniversary and kind of give it a proper celebration by performing like all different songs from it, especially because I'm such a huge fan of that album. And it would have been really cool to hear her sing some of those songs that she hasn't sung like literally since the first tour. Another thing that I probably would have changed is I would have swapped Smile for a different old album track each night. I am kind of surprised that she brought back Smile. Like, I think it's cool that she did bring it back because, again, it's another single from Goodbye Lullaby. So it's cool that that album was getting more representation because I think the album seems to kind of get forgotten about sometimes amongst her discography. But Smile is honestly not my absolute favorite song. Like, I get why she brought it back because it's upbeat and kind of is relevant to her life right now, being in a happy relationship. And it's like one of the more pop punk songs. So it fits with her current Love Sux vibe and all of that. But it's not like my mega personal favorite song. And I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Like, it wasn't a really huge hit that it really needs to be played every single night. Like the mainstays of her set list, like Complicated, Skater Boy Girlfriend, My Happy Ending, like those are the songs that absolutely have to get played. So for me, Smile wasn't really necessary to keep on every single night. I think that it would have been really cool if she had kind of rotated it with some other deep cuts from her previous albums that she hasn't performed in a while, like Hot, Take Me Away, Together, Nobody's Home, I Can Do Better, Push, Wish You Were Here, 17, Give You What You Like, Hush Hush, I Fell in Love with the Devil. Like, there's so many other songs that she could have played in its place. And I think that fans always really like getting to hear an old album track that hasn't been played in quite some time. And I think that these days, especially with social media, everything is posted online immediately after it happens. And so people already know the set list. And so I think she could have tried to have some more elements of surprise in there. Like even just changing up one song a night could have made all the difference so that each show could have felt unique. And like everybody could have felt like they were getting a unique experience and a unique show. Like she has done that before, like the Black Star Tour before the show, she would kind of do like a Twitter poll and ask fans what they wanted to hear. And I just think that it would have been really cool to kind of have like a different like Go song each night and then the rest of her albums playing some sort of deep cut or very old single that hasn't been played in a long time. And then, of course, another change that I would have made was incorporating more Love Sux tracks. So that was like the main complaint, is that she was only playing like 5 songs off the album. And especially because she didn't even play Love Sux in full. So that's one thing I would have done differently, is play the entire song. I do think it's cool that she played the song on drums, and I think that that's why she didn't play the entire song, because it's really hard to play the drums and sing at the same time, and I think she probably wasn't capable of sustaining the entire song while playing the drums. But I think if that's the case, I think she either could have just abandoned the drums entirely if it meant she could actually play the song in full, or find a way to kind of like start off by playing the drums, and then after she plays like a verse and a chorus, find a way to hand it off to her actual drummer and then play the rest of the song. Like, it just feels a little bit incomplete that we only got to hear a little bit of the title track of the entire album. What's also weird is that she talked about being excited to play Kiss Me Like the World Is Ending, and yet it wasn't on the set list at all, which I found kind of odd. So I would have definitely loved to hear that one. And I also know that a lot of fans wanted to hear Avalanche. I think that that would have been a really, really powerful, impactful moment if she had included that. It seems like maybe outside of a few songs like I'm With You and Head Above Water and stuff, that she wanted to keep the set list mainly up-tempo and light. So maybe that's why she didn't include Avalanche, because it is kind of like a heavier, more mid-tempo song, like especially subject-wise. And maybe she just wanted to keep everything kind of like light and upbeat. But I do think that the fans would have really loved to hear Avalanche. I think it would have been such a powerful moment if that was included. And I also would have maybe rotated between Deja Vu and FU. I never expected that All I Wanted would get performed just because of the Mark Hoppus thing. And Dare to Love Me, it's a ballad. It wasn't a single. And she kind of wasn't super enthused about putting it on the album in the first place. So I never expected that that would get performed. And then Break of a Heartache could have kind of gone either way because it's so short. I honestly think it would have been really fun to like end the set list with that. I know that for the last few tours, she's really liked ending her set with I'm With You because it's such a big crowd moment and the emotion and the energy in the room completely changes and stuff. So I get why she likes ending with I'm With You, but I do think it would have been really fun to end with Break of a Heartache just because it's such an up-tempo song and is obviously what the whole album is about. And I do kind of have a theory that that visual that I talked about in the beginning where the heart graphic kind of explodes before Cannonball starts, I almost wonder if that is sort of meant to be a reference to Break of a Heartache because it's like literally the heart is breaking. And I think that would have been like a really good message to leave the audience with, is that they're feeling really good and they're feeling like on top of the world and like nothing can bring them down kind of thing. And that also kind of brings me to my point about how some people thought it was strange that she decided to end, like for the encore, she ended the show with 2 ballads. The whole show is very up-tempo, very upbeat and lighthearted until the last 2 songs, and then it's ballads. So I think some people were a little bit confused and thought maybe she should have ended with an up-tempo song like Skater Boy. But I guess I kind of understand why she decided to end with Head Above Water and I'm With You for the encore, because the encore is meant to be the showstopper kind of the show. And especially because she like went backstage for a costume change and then they played the Head Above Water intro to kind of build up hype for her to come back on stage and stuff. I think that they wanted to just kind of give a little bit of a dramatic moment at the end. And like I said, too, I'm With You is such a powerful song to experience in person at an Avril Lavigne show. I can just tell you from personal experience, seeing her twice in concert, performing it, something about the energy in the room changes and people put up the lights on their cell phones and stuff. And it's just such a bonding moment between Avril and the crowd. And there's just something so magical about it that is really kind of indescribable. And so I think I kind of get why she wanted to leave the audience with that and end on that note, especially because it's her favorite song to perform and you can really tell that when she's singing it. So even though I would have made a few changes to the set list, like I said, I would have loved to hear different Let Go songs. I would have liked to hear maybe some other album tracks besides just Smile, incorporating some more Love Sux tracks into the set list. I think overall, this is a decent set list from what we can expect considering that she's 20 years into her career. And something that I was going to mention before too is that I think we have to understand from her perspective as an artist as well is that it's really difficult to have hit songs. Like you think about the percentage of artists who make it to the level that she does. It's really, really difficult. And it's really difficult to maintain that level of success for as long as she has. And artists are lucky even just to have one hit, let alone several. And so I think that's something that she probably feels really proud of, is that she does have enough hits to make an entire set list just of hit songs that people know the words to and people dance along to and sing along to and so enthusiastically at her shows. That's got to feel like a really amazing achievement to her and like a sign that she has made it in the music industry and that she's pretty much good, like for the rest of her career, regardless of what she does next. As long as she has like these songs, she's pretty much set for life, regardless of what else she does. And that's going to be a really good feeling for her just because the music industry is so difficult to make a real career in and to like have lasted for as long as she has. So I think that even though the fans are kind of sick of hearing the same songs 1,000 times, we also have to understand from her perspective and from an artist perspective that it's not easy at all to do what she has done. And I think that she feels really proud to be able to have a set list consisting mostly of hits. A couple of other things that I'll say I really loved about this tour. I loved the outfits. Like, for the most part, her outfits in general this era. I really love how she's been working with Ashton Michael to make all these custom designed outfits. And I would really recommend looking at his Instagram page because he kind of shows more about how he makes the outfits and stuff. And it's clearly very inspired by her like punk rock, Hot Topic kind of style, but it's more elevated, I feel. To me, it kind of feels like a combination of her style from the first three eras and then like just a little something extra added to it to make it more special. And I think that you can tell that Avril really loves the outfits too. And like obviously when she feels good and comfortable and confident in what she's wearing, she puts on a better performance. I also really love that she had like different outfits to wear for each show. Like she kind of rotated between the different skirts. And then like at the end for the encore, she had like a subtle costume change. So it wasn't like so many costumes that it was distracting and she had to go off stage too often. But it was just enough of a little something like she would start with the hoodie or she would start with the trench coat and then take it off and have like the bodysuit and the skirt on. And then she would go off stage for the encore and change into like that long see-through thing. And it was just enough of little changes here and there to kind of keep it interesting. I also really like the visuals and the staging that she did for this tour because I think the last couple of tours, they haven't done a lot with like the visuals and the staging and all of that. And this tour, it seems like they really stepped it up with that stuff where it's like they had stuff going on the video screens behind her. And then the design of the stage where they incorporated the black balloons from the album cover. And I also think it's a really fun idea that they had the beach balls like bouncing around in the audience. And I also really love her custom made orange microphone and that like orange and black spiky mic stand. It just fits the whole aesthetic of the Love Sux album really, really well. And, you know, those little details with the visuals and the costumes and the staging and all of that, all those little details, when you put them all together, it really does make such a difference with the whole presentation. Like it's not just about the music, even though that's like the primary focus, of course, is the music. But I think when you really pay attention to all those other details, like besides just the music, like the visual portion of it as well, and it all comes together, it just really elevates it and takes it to that next level. The last thing I want to talk about before I end this episode is just my predictions for what I think the Love Sux Tour is going to be like. Some people are mistakenly referring to the Bite Me Tour as the Love Sux Tour, but it really isn't. It's always been called the Bite Me Tour, and that's because it was an exclusively Canadian tour. And so I don't know if that means that this was meant to be more of a promotional tour and the Love Sux Tour is going to be like bigger and more extensive than the Bite Me Tour was. Like I said, right now she's on tour opening for Machine Gun Kelly on his mainstream sellout tour. And her set list, obviously as an opener, is greatly reduced from what her set list is on her own tour. She's performing singles as expected. So I don't think that's really a good indicator of what we can expect for the Love Sux Tour. For the Love Sux Tour, I honestly don't really know what to expect. I wouldn't be surprised if her set list is kind of the same, but I think that we're obviously all hoping that she'll add in a few more Love Sux songs, like maybe playing Love Sux in full, adding Kiss Me Like the World Is Ending. I definitely think she really should add Avalanche, especially because it's such a highly requested song from the fans. And like I said, maybe adding in a couple others like Deja Vu or FU. And I think, again, it would be really fun if she threw in Break of a Heartache in there as well. Since the tour isn't scheduled to start until this fall, it's possible that we could have the deluxe album by then as well. Or like since the European and UK legs are starting the following year, it's even possible we might have the next album by then. That might be too much to hope for, but she has talked a lot about putting out a deluxe album or starting the next album. And so it's possible we could have some other like just new songs in general by then. So it's possible maybe even some of those songs might get added to the set list as well. But like I said, the tour isn't starting for another few months, so it's going to be quite a while until we find out for sure. So that pretty much wraps up everything to do with the Bite Me Tour. Again, regardless of thoughts on the set list and things like that, the tour looked really, really fun, and I wish that I could have gone. One thing I forgot to mention actually is she did stop after some of the shows outside of her tour bus and sign autographs for the fans who were waiting there. She did not take any pictures, I don't think, because of COVID. They kind of just wanted to keep everybody separated. But she was still nice enough to be able to sign things for fans. And like one of her fans, she even gave her a guitar pick and stuff. So that was really, really nice of her to do that because there was no official or formal meet and greet for this tour. So that was kind of the only way that anybody was going to be able to meet her. And it's not like she has to do that. And she didn't do it for every single show, but I think a good portion of the show, she did stop afterwards to meet with the fans. So that was really nice of her to do as well. So like I said, the tour looked really, really fun, and it was good to see her back on the road after a couple of years off because of the pandemic, and I'm sure that Avril was glad to be back as well. It seemed like she was just having the time of her life, and everything that she posted on her social media, she just kept saying how grateful she was to be back in Canada and to be playing big arenas, and that the fans are still here after all these years and still appreciating the hits and singing along with her like we always have. And that was just really, really great to see. And just seems like all around everybody had a great time, and it's just always really, really nice to see that from her. So with that, we conclude this edition of the Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when a new episode drops. And don't forget to leave a rating or review as well. We're currently streaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, and Audible. Join me again next time on the Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast. The Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast is hosted, produced, and edited by Andrea DiFrancesco. Theme music is HD and Lights by J. Powell Flicks. Follow the latest podcast news on Instagram at bestdamnavrilpod or email bestdamnavrilpod@yahoo.com.